The countdown is on for Broadway's biggest night, and we're just 1 week away from the Tony Awards, so we'll have to wait just a little longer to see who gets to take home a statue. But in the meantime, here to dish about the Tony class of 2025, the locks and the maybe snubs and everything in between, we have entertainment critic from the New York Post, Johnny Oleksinski, Julie James, program director and host of SiriusXM on Broadway, and Patrick Pacheco from CUNY TV's Theater All the Moving Parts. Welcome, guys, and happy Tonys. We're almost at the finish line. It's been a really exciting season on Broadway. You know, in my mind, I've been covering this community for over 20 years now, and this is by far the most exciting season on record for me. What was the highlight for you for the 2024-2025 season? Johnny, I see you. Your lips, you're ready to say something. What are you going to say?
Well, I think we all know that the highlight of the season was Tammy Faye. Elton John batted it out of the park.
You went there.
He batted it out of the city. We never heard from it again.
What are we, 30 seconds
I know,
in?
he goes right there. What else was the highlight?
You know, and there are things I'd seen before, but I'm going to give it to a tie to Sunset Boulevard and Oh Mary. Shows that I wanted to go back to, shows that kind of brought me back to the pre-pandemic feeling of Broadway, where there was just this electricity that's been missing from the street.
Yeah. How about you, Jewel?
I have an incredible revival in Sunset Boulevard that was just, you know, to die for. I've seen it many times.
Yeah. How many times?
I think I've seen it 4.
Okay.
I plan to go back
I'm at 6.
plenty other. Okay, I got some catching up to do. And then also the delight of seeing a truly original musical like maybe Happy Ending take a complete turnaround, something that at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of uncertainty. We didn't know if a fully original musical with that kind of story could really go the distance, even though we had hoped that it would. And the way that the fans and the public have rallied around it, as well as the industry, and made it a beloved, even on social media, it's so beloved. I just love to see it.
Yeah, it almost didn't open. They were struggling to even get open. How about you, Patrick?
Well, I have to agree with Johnny that Oh Mary is the story of the season. That in a season of a lot of blockbusters that are very expensive, that an 80-minute, 5-character play with a non-binary star from downtown became one of the hottest tickets ever. And again, agreeing with Julie, that who would have thought that helper robots, retired helper robots in 2064, South Korea, coming out of South Korea, could teach us all about the human way to love.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Said.
So let's cut to June 8th. Obviously, Cynthia Erivo, fresh off of, you know, her big star turn in the Wicked film, is hosting the Tonys this year. Thoughts on Cynthia as the master of ceremonies?
I think she's a wonderful choice for, we have to put ourselves in the seat of America. Industry folks are one thing, inside baseball is one thing. To give the public a star like that coming off of her big Wicked turn and going into the next one, of course, for part 2, this holiday season, is a really smart choice for tune-ins, which is what the Tonys really, really craves.
Yeah. And we're getting a big reunion with the company of Hamilton.
Yes.
The company of Hamilton reuniting on the Tonys. I mean, we're at 10 years now with
Hamilton.
Hamilton, Patrick.
Well, it's great that Cynthia Erivo is a Tony winner, and she's part of the community, and she came in that year and established herself as part of the community, and it's great that somebody with those kind of creds is hosting the Tonys.
Yeah. I just hope that she can be funny. You know, because her roles aren't exactly laugh-a-minute roles, and I don't know her. Maybe she's hilarious, but we'll see what she is as a host.
I'm keeping the faith. I love Cynthia. All right, let's dive into some of the categories. Best musical. We have Buena Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, Operation Mincemeat, Johnny's favorite musical. Is this maybe Happy Ending's year, period, done?
I think it's something that we can agree on. It's a small show. And Tony voters tend to want to endorse the smaller shows, not the $30 million spectacles like Death Becomes Her. And I think it has a lot of affection going for it, which may sweep it into a number of categories as well. So I think it's going to be a very good night for Maybe Happy Ending.
Kind of on what Julie was saying earlier about how it's been such a success story. It almost didn't open. There was a huge shortage of cash. then the reviews came out. They were rapturous. And
Rave reviews across the board.
rave reviews across the board, which these days doesn't always mean ticket sales.
Yeah.
But
Right.
this week it grossed, I think, 1.1 million.
Yeah.
And it's a retro feeling that makes people feel very good, that word of mouth and great reviews can turn a show's fortunes around. And I think people will even vote for that. It's old school Broadway in that sense.
If, say it's not maybe Happy Endings night, what would you say is a close second? Buena Vista, Dead Outlaw, Operation Mincemeat, Death Becomes Her.
It's so wonderful that this category is so rich. I mean, it really has a lot of wonderful musicals. So it feels like a year where, in a way, there's no wrong answer. So even though I think there's a lot there, I mean, Death Becomes Her is really thrilling audiences. I know that there's a lot of love for Dead Outlaw, just because it's so different and so fun. Buena Vista Social Club, so remarkable. Operation Mincemeat, beloved too. It's almost like it's a toss-up if we're taking maybe Happy Ending. But I shared with you earlier, Frank, on my show at SiriusXM that I recently saw maybe Happy Ending from the second to the last row of the balcony.
Yeah.
And it was just as exquisite as it was when I saw it 2 other times in the best seats in the house.
Yeah.
So that for me is a big sign of its worth, and how refreshing that it's fully original, not
Yeah.
based on a prior IP or a book or a movie or anything. It's just so refreshing.
And so moving. All right, best play. We have English, The Hills of California, John Proctor is the villain, Oh Mary, and Purpose. Patrick saying that Oh Mary is the story of the season.
Yeah, I think it's possibly a near lock for Oh Mary, but I think that Purpose, having won the New York Drama Critics Circle Award and the Pulitzer Prize, has a lot of momentum behind it, and it depends on how the voters kind of view looking at this list, all of which are great. I happen to have loved The Hills of California,
Me
but I
too.
don't think it's in the running.
Well, because, it closed last year. Unfortunately, it's not playing. Neither is
English. Yeah.
I want you to point out, Johnny, right now as the ballots are due the Friday before the Tonys, if I'm not mistaken, right? Mm-hmm. All the shows that are currently campaigning are hosting little get-togethers. You just went to one last night for a purpose, for them to secure some votes before the ballots are due. Just talk a little bit about that experience and what you were hearing at the Purpose Party.
Well, it's very strange. I've been told by publicists for these shows, they go through the voter rolls of the 800 voters every single day to see where people stand. So all these parties are very meticulously planned. They're not huge, but they know, maybe I can convince this person if I introduce them to John Michael Hill or one of the stars. And so that's what was happening. Carrie Young was coming around, shaking hands, being pretty much as charming as a person could be.
Yeah.
And that probably will convince some people to vote for her.
I mean, what are there, 864 voters in total? So, I mean, if you get a bunch of votes from these parties, you could lock in a
And
win.
at the same time that Johnny was at that party, I was at one for John Proctor.
There you go.
And the playwright, and they had beautiful copies of the play on the tables and the playwright signing. So yeah, they're going all out.
It's campaign
And I was
time.
at one for Real Women Have Curves at the exact same time that Purpose was. And when I went the second time on my Tony voting tickets to see Sunset Boulevard, I was invited at intermission to go to the VIP room, and then at the end to stay in my seats, and a host would escort me backstage to meet Nicole Scherzinger and Tom Francis.
This is a real fight for who's invited to more stuff, I guess.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. More on our predictions for the 2025 Tony Awards right after this. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more premiere theater coverage and exclusive interviews, click the subscribe button. You can also download the Spectrum News app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you there.